Hey guys, welcome to the Inside Quest. I'm Leah.
I'm Brandon.
Doesn't really change. But, so this week we are going to be talking about Star Wars. And you want to know what the highlight of my day is?
That we already recorded this episode, but our audio was all fucked up, so we had to do it again.
It wasn't even fucked up, it just wasn't there. It
Thanks,
wasn't
audio.
there at all.
Thanks, audio.
Oh,
Very cool.
no.
Very cool.
Very cool. So, I hope we're able to give everybody all of, like, the juicy nuggets that we were the first time we talked about this, and, like, we don't skim over things too much. But let's fucking start at the beginning again. God,
Pretty much.
God damn it. Okay. Basically, I wanted to figure out what the right way to watch Star Wars is post-Disney. Because for those of you who don't know, pre-Disney, there was a widely accepted way to watch Star Wars.
Indeed.
So for those of you who aren't aware, I believe it was probably a Reddit user or, you know, somebody off of 4chan or something like that. But they had essentially come up with the idea that how you should watch Star Wars, the original trilogy and the prequels, was to start out with episode 4. So you could meet all of the main characters, establish Darth Vader as a villain, and then watch Empire Strikes Back and, like, end on that cliffhanger. And then you would hop back to the prequels and watch 1, 2, 3. So you can establish Darth Vader as a villain. And, you know, in the original recording, I went on a nice little tangent about Crimson Dawn and about how great Darth Maul is. And he's so fucking cool. I can't replicate it, but I want to express to you guys just how cool Darth Maul is in Crimson Dawn. And it's just, I love it. It's so good.
I think I wish that there were more Zabrakians
Yeah, I agree.
in the show, like, just in general. Because, I mean, not even all of them, like, he did, like, the whole face paint thing, but that wasn't really, like, most of them are just, like, people with, like, a little bit of coloration on their face and then the horns on their head.
Yeah.
You know? And you see them, like, usually as, like, background characters, but I wish there was, like, another one that was, like, you know,
so cool. Well,
established.
You know, you get Darth Maul's brother established, and he's pretty cool too, but, like, not as cool as Darth Maul.
But that's, like, in Rebels, right?
It's in Rebels, and it's also in Clone Wars in the later seasons.
I need to get there. I've never watched all of Clone Wars or Rebels. I've never watched any Rebels. And I've never seen Solo. So, like, I'm missing out. And I've also never seen Resistance. I didn't even know Resistance was a thing.
Yeah. I've been just trying to, like, binge watch Star Wars, which is what inspired this. I may or may not have had a fever dream about Star Wars one night and texted Brandon at 3 a.m. that this is what I wanted to talk about for an hour. But guess what? It's going to be 2 hours now. Also, just, like, I can't remember if I threw it in the beginning of this or not, but, like, this entire episode, it's just spoilers. So, deal with it.
But if you do want to talk and think about Star Wars stuff and fill the gaps in my mind, especially in the comments or something, like...
Yeah.
Because I've got my thoughts on Star Wars, but I'm not, like, super hard set on consumption methods. I'm more questioning about, like, what lore is good, what lore is real, like, what's really important in the overall... I'm a lore person. I love lore in games. That's why I eat up the Elder Scrolls. This is a slight Elder Scrolls tangent. Why don't we?
Why don't we?
But I was reading an article the other day on it, and they kind of go into the discussion on Elder Scrolls lore, and kind of what makes it so great is the fact that it's very vague. There's no, like, hard set lore, really, and a lot of it stems from the second game, Daggerfall, which had 6 different endings that were all canon.
Dope.
So it's like it leads to, like, a bunch of different timelines that could happen.
See, I'm that
Warp
bitch
in the
who's
West.
only played Skyrim, and I like the fact that one dude, BDG or whatever, he read all of the books in Skyrim. Mm-hmm. There were like 500.
David Gilbert, yeah.
There were like 500 of them. It was great. I can't believe he read all of them.
I haven't read all of them, but trust me, I've probably read about 70 to 80% of the literature in those games, and I do have to agree with them. Most of it is pretty boring and relatively There's so much of it that's not even about anything. It's a lot of like diaries and just like small shit about people's days.
Yeah.
Some fake history stuff that's like written like a history book and it's really like just boring, but Argonian
There's
made.
like a fictional author in like the fictional game.
Yeah.
It's
And he's really good.
I don't remember where we were.
I was just talking about like lore and how
Yeah,
I think
lore's
lore
cool.
affects like timelines. So
Like-
going back to like Star Wars, in the initial recording we had of this, the main focus, I guess, of the episode is more on the movies and television, but I
Yeah.
also might throw in some concepts that are like, when should you play certain games as well? Because the games have a lot to add.
Yeah, games have a lot of lore. The comics have a lot of lore as well. I love the comics. There's like a war of the Mandalorians that happens like a couple thousand years before any of like the main trilogy or any of that, but I like it's cool. I would love to see like Disney do something with that. They're probably not, cuz like who wants a movie about Mandalorians that was like thousands of years ago? I do, but I don't know if anybody else does.
They'll probably, hopefully, at least like touch in on it or like give more guidance in like The Mandalorian, the TV series.
I would really like to see Thrall in like a main movie. He's from Rebels and the comics, but
Okay.
he's like he's cool. He's real cool.
I'm definitely really curious because they've hinted at recent episodes. This is more tangenting, but I think it was in the third episode where you start to get a little bit more Mandalorian exposition.
Yeah.
And they reference the fact of like the Empire hunting them down. So like that's why there's like a big stigma about Mandalorians don't work for the Empire.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that kind of caused them to go into hiding. So
Yep.
I'm curious to hear more about that.
I love the Mandalorians. I think they're so cool.
This is the way.
This is the way. But yeah, no, like we're gonna be tangenting a lot this time because I think for the most part, we've kind of come to a consensus on
A little bit.
how we think the right way to consume all of Star Wars is. And I don't know how to genuinely replicate the tangents that we went on the first time.
I will say that they're probably not going to miss much because in the first recording, we go on for about 15 minutes about how Solo is kind of just
Solo sucks.
not. I never saw it, but from what I've heard, it's
It's not good. It's not great.
like it's there if you want it, but it's not exactly.
It's like it's so
great.
worthless. Like I mean, it's cool because it's the first like main movie that puts in Crimson Dawn and like has a mention of that and like mentions the fact that Darth Maul didn't die and he's a cool ass fucking cyborg now.
They do talk about that in Solo.
No, they don't. They talk about Crimson
Slight
Dawn.
reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They talk about Crimson Dawn. And you see Maul, so you get that he's alive, but like
Okay.
I think he's in like one scene and like you don't see
He's
his
not,
lower
like,
half,
super
so you
important.
can't see
Yeah.
the fact that he's like just this fucking cyborg dude just running this space gang.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we've come to the conclusion that, what we've got going so far.
I think the
Is-
starting point is Rebels. Or not Rebels. I think starting point is Rogue One.
See, I agree and I disagree because I feel like you can start with Star Wars Rebels.
I don't know anything really much about it. I do know that there are reoccurring characters and they are kind of like big cells. Or like they have the impact they do only if you know who they are.
I
So
disagree.
like say like I'm saying the watch, I mean, granted this is kind of on if you wanted to like rewatch Star Wars, like you already have like the background knowledge, but like if you were say completely blind,
Yeah.
have never seen a Star Wars
Yeah.
movie ever in your life and you wanted to watch it in the correct order, I think Rogue One is just
Oh yeah, Rogue One. It's. I think honestly, it's my favorite Star Wars movie.
it's up
It's
there.
just it's so good. But like I think Star Wars Rebels, I think it's really good world building if that makes any sense. Cause like you get, Ahsoka, you get Thrall, you get Vader, you get,
Darth Maul.
you get Darth Maul, you also get oh my god, I'm spacing on his name. He's in Rogue One. I got this. It's the weird conspiracy theory guy.
I don't think she's got it.
I do. I got this. Saw Gerrera. There we go. It has Saw Gerrera in there. It's got some clones in there. It's really good world building, and I think it establishes things without it being too confusing. Because, like, I don't think you need to watch all of Star Wars to enjoy Star Wars Rebels. No. So I think Star Wars Rebels is a good starting point because it ends right as, like, Rogue One, like, kind of jumps off at. So I think you could go Star Wars Rebels, Rogue One, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, 1, 2, 3, and then Return of the Jedi, and then the third trilogy. And that's kind of where we got stuck at, and we realized, oh.
I think our biggest point of contention is I definitely stand my ground at Rogue One's the first one to watch.
Yeah, but, like, you haven't even watched Rebels. Like, you don't know.
I don't. But, that almost cements my opinion. My naivety is my opinion.
God damn it, Brandon. So that's kind of where we left off at. We aren't too sure.
If you're throwing in Rebels, though, don't forget that you could also do, like, you know,
you
Rogue
could,
One, 4, 5, 1, 2, Clone Wars, 3,
yeah.
Rebels. Actually, I don't know if you'd want to go back to Rebels after 3. I think after 3, you almost always have to jump into Return of the Jedi. Because you get, you know, you kind of get the big exposition.
That's why I'm thinking you start with Rebels, Rogue One, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, 1, 2, Clone Wars, 3,
and honestly,
Return of the Jedi, and then the third trilogy.
And honestly, technically, you could just... I think Phantom Menace is one of those movies you could do with, skip it, or you could do without.
Like, honestly, all you need to know from Phantom Menace is that Anakin's mom was a slave.
So if you, let's have a timeline for, like, almost required to fully enjoy Star Wars, what do you need to watch?
You're asking the wrong person that, because I love everything.
Because, I mean, if you wanted to cut off the meat and potatoes and just have a fucking, you know, piece of corn, you just go 4, 5, 3, 6.
What?
Yeah.
What? Like, I'm not confused with what, like, you're saying but, like, potatoes and corn?
Mm-hmm. If you don't want the meat and potatoes and you just want the fucking corn on the cob, the worst part of the meal, but it's still a meal. The bread, gamers.
I'm so confused. Is that, like, actually a saying? Is that actually...
The meat and potatoes is a saying. The corn is thrown in there.
Okay. But yeah, no, I think, you know, if
skipping over that.
Skipping over my absolute utter confusion. I think, yeah, if you're really just trying to go through this bitch as quickly as possible, I would go like Rogue One, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, 2, 3, 6, and then 7, 8, maybe 9, depending on how 9 ends.
One thing that I would say that is kind of neat, but it's also kind of what makes it a point of contention to me, is I think the new trilogy, it stands really well on its own.
It does. It really does.
So, I mean, there's very small things. Like, you see Vader's helmet, and you see Luke as a character, but, I mean, they're kind of like, you know... the exposition that's important is what's explained in those movies, so you don't really need anything from them.
I almost wonder if you could start off with Force Awakens. And, like, watch the third trilogy, and then Rogue One. And you know?
Maybe. This is also before, we're making this podcast before Rise of Skywalker comes out. So there's still a lot of missing details. This episode's going to be up
before before Rise of Skywalker comes out.
But, you know, episodes like this, they stay on the internet. So a couple weeks down the line, it will be...
You know,
after
they could look at the date it was published.
Hey,
like,
well,
you know,
I'm trying to cover my own ass here, okay? I'm trying to protect myself. Internet's ruthless. Star Wars is even more ruthless.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm sure, like...
This is a passionate fan base we're talking about here.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will call me real dumb.
Likewise. Yeah, especially because I have some discussion I want to go over here in a second.
Right.
No, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's... The new trilogy just stands really well on its own.
Yeah.
So you could watch that honestly at any time. And like if you wanted to watch the new movie, like my only prerequisites would just be watch Force Awakens, watch The Last Jedi. You're not really missing too much. You get what you need.
Yeah.
But if you want the full experience, then probably still Rogue One, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
That's probably the recommended order.
Probably. We're not too sure. I honestly, because like, don't get me wrong, I like the newest trilogy, but like it's really safe, if that makes any sense.
It is very safe so far.
And like, I mean, I have conflict. I have conflict inside me. Because like there's part of me that really likes the fact that, you know, they really just went there and just killed Snoke. Like I think that's
true.
Pretty like no other none of the other trilogies kind of go out there and, you know, kill.
Just kill him.
Yeah, just kill him like right away.
Do
like
it. Do it. Kill him. Do it now.
Do it. Oh God.
Do it.
I'm sorry.
Do it.
God damn it.
I'm done.
Okay. So like I do like the fact that they did that because it's truly like it's really original, and I like how we're seeing the fact that Kylo Ren is struggling with his pull to the light side rather than the pull to the dark side. Well, you know, he's already on the dark side, so you know he's questioning if he's on the right one, because usually it's people on the light questioning if they're gonna go dark, you know. So I think that's interesting. A lot of people like to shit on The Last Jedi. I'm like, I see your flaws. I agree with you, but like it does do stuff differently. But I don't remember where I was going. This is awesome. But okay, yeah, no. The newer trilogy, like apart from that, I would say it's really, really safe.
It is.
And I really hope that Rise of Skywalker does some fucked up shit. Like
I've heard some fan theories, and I mean, I know they're just theories. And also, I mean, this morning, apparently the script that got reportedly leaked was authenticated as what's Finn's actor's name? It's his, John Boyega's. It's his script. He left it in an apartment, and the fucking cleaning crew stole it and then sold it on eBay. Boy. So he's pissed off about it, but he did fess up to being like, yeah, that's my fucking script.
Damn, dude.
That sucks.
That sucks.
But I don't know anything about what's in that script. I'm sure people have written online about it or what's going to happen, but I know there's a fan theory that there could be the potential, or it'd be cool to see kind of
Sidious.
the swap in which Rey becomes the villain.
Yeah.
And, you know, Edgelord McGee becomes the good boy.
Yeah, it would be interesting. And then also there's, you know, some theories about Sidious, which for those people who like the Star Wars lore, I don't know if you know this from the games that you've played, but in the comics, you know, after they originally killed Sidious, he actually had a bunch of clones of himself. So like there's some comics where, you know, they kill off his clones. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's like another clone laying around there.
Who knows?
So that would be cool. Or I don't know.
There's definitely some to be desired just by the fact of like, you know, I mean, Sidious dies,
quote unquote,
by being dropped through an exhaust shaft and then the Death Star exploding. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's no like hard, he's dead.
See, like
that bitch is dead. So, you know, while there is like, you know, some of the concepts of like, you know, space is a cold, dead wasteland, there's also some mysticism, and I don't know how hard they're going to take that into account.
Yeah. But, you know,
I mean, you've got fucking Luke hanging out with one arm at the bottom of Bespin Cloud City, you know, where there's no atmosphere probably because, you know, it's way up above the clouds. You know, it's small things. There's small little loops, little loopholes that you could get around where it could be just, you know,
or exploit.
But something I kind of have an itch to talk about.
Okay.
Every time I talk about Star Wars, especially because it's so contested and people get so angry. Well, one thing I want to point out, if you look at the like title cards for all of the movies, the original trilogy, all of them are very different and unique.
Yeah.
And then the prequels, very, same font, same shit. It's just, episode blah, and then small script underneath it. And then in the new ones, it's Star Wars with script in between. And man, what happened to the original? But no, so going into the prequels, I thoroughly enjoy them. They are like kind of what I grew up with a little bit, but I also really enjoyed them because I felt compared to the original trilogy, there's so much like unnecessary information involved. So if you're wanting to watch Star Wars and only have the necessary information, I could see why you hate that. But for me, like, I'm a lore addict. Like, the shit that doesn't matter, that's the shit I eat up. And so there's tons of that. But then also, something that is hotly debated, but I'm going to say it anyway because my hot take, I think Christian Haydenson did a great job.
I agree.
I thoroughly actually believe that he played his character accurately. And that accurate portrayal of, a very troubled individual, edgelord with, he was a slave as a child and was then, taken away and raised by like a council of emotionless
monks.
Jedi. Yeah, monks. And then he's like trying to, I don't know, I think
he's trying to understand love. He's like 17 in that series.
Well, it's like his like weird portrayal of his lines. Like they're just, he's been criticized for it forever, but I think he honestly was directed to act that way. Like he fully took on his character.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't want to say I don't want to say he did a bad job. I want to say that he did what he was supposed to do with the script and the director. Because I think, what was it, Jumper that he was in, like, not too long after, like, the trilogy came out? And he's a good actor. Like, he has good roles. Like, I think this was based on the directing style and the script.
Yes.
Is how I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to say Anakin is good, and there's so much talk about Sand for no reason.
There could be, my question isn't on if he's a well-written character. My point is mostly on the fact that I think Hayden did a good job.
Yeah, but a lot of people, if you just say Hayden did a good job and you don't say like, it's
a poorly written character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go for you.
Yeah.
So I want to specify.
Yeah.
We're saying it's the direction and the script that was wrong for that character. We believe your boy did as best as he could.
But I can't even fully say it was like awful. See, I'm in like the hot take territory of even though it's poor, I think it's, it's good.
I haven't.
It's in a really weird vein of like, because it's like, it's harder to believe though in this, because there's so many of these other characters that are extremely well written that, there was there was a lot of thought put into the characters, But like Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, like all of them growing, the fucking strings pulled by the Empire. We don't talk about Jar Jar Binks. Don't talk about Jar Jar Binks.
R.I.P. Christopher Lee, though.
Yeah, that's
true.
He
dead.
He is dead.
That's so sad.
Good. He was a good dude, though.
He's a great dude. I haven't like genuinely watched the prequels. I want to say in about like 2 or 3 years. And
it's been a little bit for me too.
I have. It's hard. It's hard for me to get through them because it's a combination of the direction of it, and then a combination of the terrible CGI. It's
there is
not
some bad
good.
CGI.
It's real bad, and
it's dated. It's definitely dated.
Well, like, not only is it dated, they were trying to do too much too soon, if that makes any sense. Because, like, if you go back and you watch Jurassic Park, like, yeah, Jurassic Park has, like, practical effects along with CGI. But I think Jurassic Park was one of the first movies to have, like, very similar to, like, this day and age's CG.
Yeah.
That, like, kind of doesn't age as poorly as everything else, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Like,
I would have less of, like, a headache watching Jurassic Park than Star Wars, the prequels. Because it's real bad.
It is. I can't deny that. That's it showing its age. 100%.
Yeah. Although honestly, I really want to see an Obi-Wan movie, not a series, and I really would like them to keep Ewan McGregor because, like,
I believe he's supposed to be.
Is he? Because I know they're doing a series, but like, I'm happy. So. I'm happy with either way. Because, like, honestly, if you look at Ewan McGregor then versus now, I don't know what face scrub he's using or like what lotion he's putting on, but he looks fucking good for his age. It's surprising.
It's amazing what happens when you take care of yourself.
Are you roasting me?
I'm just roasting everyone in general.
Oh, okay.
Society as a whole. Because I mean, Hollywood actors, they have to like have certain diets and fucking workout routines, and everything's so like to a T, you know.
Yeah, no, but like there are other actors that, like, you know.
Yeah, but they also probably drink excessively and do drugs. You always have to throw that one on the table.
God damn it, dude.
Those age you real quick.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But like, how do you know? How do you know what Ewan McGregor's doing? Like,
I don't. I'm just saying he probably. I said maybe he probably takes care of himself.
Maybe he's like, you know, chucking back 40s every weekend. Like, dude, you don't know him.
It's all Botox. He's plastic. So he's actually a CG character. He doesn't exist.
Oh my god.
He's one of Zuckerberg's androids.
What?
I'm throwing it out there. It's here. Fuck, where are we going with this?
I don't know where to go.
I wanted to talk about how the prequels are good, even if it's bad. So, okay, this is another hot take that it's just, I'm like crucifying myself up here, man.
It's okay. I'll throw in some Star Wars hot takes as well.
But like prequels, a lot of like especially like the Attack of the Clones. Mm-hmm. That movie to me, when I watch it, I get very, like Two Towers vibes in the aspect of there's not a lot going on. And that's what makes it harder to get through because it's so long.
It is.
And it's not exactly that there's like useless information in either movie, but it's just, you know.
See, I like Two Towers though. That's probably my favorite.
I like episode 2. That's what I'm saying.
But like, no, I don't think Two Towers has like nothing going on, no.
There's not nothing going on, but there's also not nothing going on in Attack of the Clones, but there's long segments of nothing going on. I mean, there's stuff going on, but it's not like, you know.
Are you telling me that talking about sand for hours isn't a lot going on?
Ugh. Never said it wasn't cringy. Okay? Okay. I enjoyed them. All I'm saying. I enjoyed them, but they are like, fuck, they're long movies and they feel long.
The CG is bad and you can tell it's bad.
Yeah. That fucking slave pit thing they have to fight beasts in. Mm-hmm. All those beasts going on. Yeah. Well, I love those beasts. They're cool. Ooh. But yeah, they're not CGI rigged very well, probably. I don't know, I haven't seen it in a while. But from my memory, it's not great.
It's not the best.
Yeah, it's not great.
Also, General Grievous. Oof.
Is he really that bad?
He looking rough. It doesn't look great. It's bad.
I haven't seen it in a while.
It's bad.
I haven't seen it in forever. Dang,
dude.
I completely tangent now. Now I'm just thinking about the prequels. I'm completely off the rails and I need to be replaced on it.
Well, like, I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't think we're going to be able to, like, agree where we should start and end. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense. And that's totally fine. Because, like, you know, it's hard. Because there's new stuff. There's new solo movies. There's series. And, you know, there's an incomplete trilogy. So, you know, we're doing as much as we can with what we got. I think for, like, the most part, when it comes to, like, the main trilogies, we're in, like, the solo movies. We're kind of on, like...
In that pocket.
Don't know really what to do with solo. It's kind of worthless.
It is kind of worthless. I would say, like, even the games that kind of go off the beaten trail a little bit, like... Frick. Jedi Outcast. Mm-hmm. Jedi Knights. That's it. The series was Jedi Knights. that happens after 6. I think those have more to say about like character development and like world building than Solo probably has to do.
Oh, 100%. Like they like do fan service with like how Han and Lando meet. And like they do fan service of how Solo and Chewbacca meet, and they do fan service being like, we didn't forget about Crimson Dawn, guys. You can shut up now. And like that's it. That's it.
Does Darth Maul get dealt with in Rebels? Like, does he die, or is there like any big thing that happens with him?
There's a lot of big things that happen with Darth Maul.
I need to watch Rebels.
Rebels is great. I love Rebels so much. Like, honestly, if you guys are going to take the time to watch any Star Wars, like, animated series or anything like that...
Rebels over Clone Wars?
I prefer Rebels over Clone Wars.
I feel like they probably learned a lot. Like I said, I hear that Clone Wars gets really good in the later seasons, and then they ended up making Rebels. So they probably, like, learned a whole lot about what they needed to do.
Yeah, plus, like, if you read the Star Wars comics and, like... I don't know. It's just like lore juicy. It's so good. I enjoy it so much. And I really like Thrawn. I like Darth Maul. Like, you get good villains in it, okay?
Yeah.
Mandalorian's great. We'd both die for Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda's okay. I'm here for the Mandalorian himself. This is the way.
What the fuck, dude? How dare you say that to me? I love Baby Yoda. I love Baby Yoda so much.
I have my curiosities about it, but I don't obsess over it. No, I'll obsess over the Mandalorian, though.
He's obsess over Baby
big hunky
Yoda.
Boy.
He's so cute. So should we like, cause damn dude, we're like 30 minutes in and like, I don't know where else to go from here. Should we just like talk about Star Wars hot takes?
I mean, I've kind of already thrown mine out there, so if you have any you'd like to add.
I would say my hot take, and granted, this is never gonna happen because, like, you know, then there would be no conflict, there would be no story, it would be boring. But, you know, in Star Wars lore...
Does Qui-Gon Jinn come back as a Force ghost?
I don't think so.
I was gonna say, who's the first one to come back as a Force ghost? It's either Qui-Gon or it's Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
It's Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
Okay.
To my knowledge. I could be wrong.
That man's so strong with the Force, and we never... I'm hoping they really go into that on the series. That's my hope. Because, I mean, even though you see old Ben Kenobi, I mean, you could tell his, like, mastery and his way of thought and everything has changed widely since episode 3.
Yeah.
It's a very different character.
Probably has to do with, like, essentially your pupil betraying you, murdering a bunch of people, and then you having to, like, fight him to, like, near death. Probably does some shit to a person.
I mean, it kind of does, but you could kind of tell. I mean, Ben Kenobi is definitely more along, like, the monk, like, understanding oneness. Like, the fact that he comes back through the Force as a ghost, like...
Says a lot.
It takes a lot of knowledge and proficiency with the Force. You know?
But I really wish they would focus more on, like, Force-neutral people.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, obviously there's the light and there's the dark, but, like, a lot of people who just watch that main stuff don't know that, you know, there's neutral Force users. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of what Ahsoka goes to after, you know, falsely getting accused of murder and stuff like that and leaving the Jedi.
I don't know anything about this. I just know she leaves. Yeah. She's not in episode 3. She's not important anywhere. Yeah,
no, she gets falsely accused of murder. She's proven innocent, but, like, she's like, alright, I'm out because, like, I just got accused of murder that I didn't commit. See you guys later. That was dope as fuck.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I believe after that she's Force neutral. But, like, I wish there were more Force neutral people. I think,
What are, like, big stamps of, like, Force neutral? Because I don't really know much about...
Like, what do you mean stamps? Like characters or...
More just like a sign. Because, I mean, it's like on the dark side you have, of course, like lightning, you know, using force, grip, like choking and things like that. And on the light side, you have a lot of oneness, and then like you have basic properties like push pull. Just a general. I find that it's like the dark side's very aggressive, whereas the light side is very more meditative force use.
See, I would disagree. I find the Jedi's aggressive as well. They're like, I have grief with the Jedi's. Like, they're full of shit. They're pretentious.
Well, they are.
Mm-hmm. And like, they think that their way of doing things is right when in reality this, conflict that they create and insinuate with the dark side, it makes them just as bad. It's yin and yang, they're both
and I think
doing
that's
the exact same thing, but they just got different opinions on it. But like,
that's kind of what culminates in like Anakin as a character,
yeah,
because they're very much like, hey, feeling is not allowed. Like, hey, you have to be this way. It's
yeah. If you love something, like you'll do anything for it, and that's risk is a bad thing. You have to be very
there's no neutral ground
about your decisions.
On either side.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the force neutral characters. I think they're fun. I think they're interesting, and I think that's the right way to use the force. I think the only somewhat like force neutral character is
Leah.
What? No. Leia's not force neutral. She's just force sensitive.
Sensitive. Okay.
Yeah. So like.
So you're talking about like actual like manipulation of the force power.
Yeah. I would say the only person who like the closest to force neutral would be that new alien character in the franchise that's Chewie's girlfriend.
Chewie isn't like Chewbacca?
Yeah. Chewie's girlfriend, the short like orange chick. You don't know who I'm talking about?
Nope. Is that in the series? You have to remember, I've watched very minimal of it.
No. It's in the new trilogy.
It's in the new trilogy?
Yeah. Can you type in Force Awakens for me, please? I need to know. I can't.
Are you talking about Chewie or Finn's?
No, I'm talking about Chewie's girlfriend. Hold up. There we go. Maz Katana.
Oh, yeah, Maz kind of is a little.
Yeah,
neutral.
I would say like in the like movies, she's probably like the closest to force neutral that we've seen.
Yeah, probably.
So I guess that's one of my hot takes. I don't know if
There needs to be more neutral characters.
Yeah, I would like to see it. Like I think it's cool. I like force neutral characters. It's fun.
I'm trying to think on like the new trilogy and like how much do we really know about Rey as a character? Like her upbringing, like she is just straight up left on that planet.
Yeah, no, she's
raised in the desert.
Yeah, like I don't even really think raised. Like I
just grows up.
It is, yeah. It's hinted that she was sold, and honestly,
I think she has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
To go bad.
Oh yeah, no, I agree too. But I feel like it's also too obvious, you know?
Who knows?
I'm
like at a weird point of contention where I'm really excited, but I'm also really like apathetic about the new movie.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I'm kind of at the point where like, you know, there's so much that they could do with it. Like, yeah. But there's also, you know, they could really play it safe, which is what they've done with most of the like new trilogy, I feel like.
That's why I'm looking to more forward to Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah,
because they're really like
great, dude.
They're not that safe, and it's just kind of this weird pocket of like, you know what, at this point, because I've always kind of been a person that's like, all right, Star Wars gets you hooked with like the Jedi kind of stuff, but Jedi, the
Jedi
Force is such
boring.
a small, like almost negligible part of like the Star Wars universe, you know, as a whole. And so that's I like seeing, you know, I think that's what made Rogue One stand out. Yeah. There's no like super special character.
Nope.
And Mandalorian, like he's special because he's a Mandalorian, and we're getting some like background on it. But you know, aside from that, it's
not like he's
a dude right now. For now in the series, he's just a dude.
Yep. Although he's got some like PTSD. I kind of
got some stuff going on up there. He's got some stuff going on.
He's got some trauma in his background, and it just kind of like cuts off like right before we get to the juicy part, you know? And I want to know.
We'll see.
So we got about like 20 minutes left. Why does this happen? Why does this happen? I think we're probably going to go see Rise of Skywalker together. And I think we're going to do a bonus episode of reviewing it. Hopefully it'll be less trashy than our one other movie review that I don't want to mention because it was a miserable point in my life.
Scary Godmother.
God damn it.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah, but like that review was painful. It was terrible.
No,
Actually,
I loved
it's not
it.
even a good movie, dude.
It's horrible.
It's terrible.
It's like trying to do a review on The Room. It sucks. But it's great. That's what makes it great is how bad it is.
It's worse than The Room. Because like The Room, it's it's so bad it's funny.
Yeah, but see that's how I feel about Scary Godmother.
It's not funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
We're not talking about this right now.
Okay. Go watch that review. Scary Godmother, Halloween episode. It's a good one. But yeah, I don't really like there's been points in my life where I would get really like passionate about how I feel about Star Wars, but I'm kind of in like one of those points where I'm just like, especially with the new movie like 3 weeks away at this point, I'm just kind of like, we'll see.
Yeah.
A lot of my passion kind of like came and went.
Died with the rebellion.
Died with Star Wars Galaxies when they shut down those servers. That was my life, man. I loved that game. That was my childhood. I loved Star Wars Galaxies.
So I don't know, dude. Do you want to just like chat for like 20 minutes? Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. What are we doing for Thanksgiving, my guy?
Eating food with my family.
God, I hate you.
Go see Frozen 2.
Are you really?
I might go do. I might even do that today. Honestly, when we're done with this.
Why do you want to see Frozen 2?
Because Frozen is great.
Okay. Do you want to do you have
Did you? No, just I have nothing to add other than I thoroughly enjoyed the first one and I'm really looking forward to the second one.
Okay, are you
I think it's Disney doing a good job with something.
Okay. Are you gonna go see it by yourself or like you gonna go with your brother or friends or what?
The whole fam.
The whole fam bam.
The whole fam.
Dang, son.
Yeah, I got nothing to add for this podcast essentially anymore.
Fuck.
It's all my Star Wars thoughts. I'm trying to think of anything that we like ranted about, but essentially this extra 15 minutes was just the extra ramblings of how Solo is such a useless movie.
Yeah, essentially.
Do you have any hopes for Rise of Skywalker? I guess we could end it with like theories or like hopes of what they do.
I mean, see, here's the thing as like me as a movie viewer, goer, person thing, is there are a lot of people who come up with theories and come up with, they try and figure out what's going to happen and everything like that. And don't get me wrong. I understand why those people do those things. And I think it's pretty cool. And I like looking at it after the fact. But I'm definitely one of those like annoying like movie purists where like if I can, I avoid trailers. Like I want to be immersed and I want to be surprised by what I'm watching. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, my hopes are very like broad. Like I hope they like stir the pot. I hope they do something different.
It's supposed to be closure. That's the big thing about the movie is it's supposed to bring everything to a close. Even though things were already closed, it's supposed to bring everything back to a close again.
See, and that just like that makes like
problem.
Because like I don't want to watch like a boring 3-hour movie just like about closure.
True. I don't know. I'd like to see them, do more with Snoke, despite being dead.
I've found what I can rant about for 15 minutes. I've found it. My brain has done a thing.
Hit me with it.
I don't know if you're at the same point where I am with Marvel. I did genuinely enjoy it. I want to say like the first whatever the fuck Disney did when they took over Marvel. However, I've gotten to the point where I can't stand Marvel. It's trash. They don't bring anything new to the table. It's the same shit. The villains are terrible. The writing's not the greatest. And overall, like, it's just a cash grab. Which obviously, to an extent, is what they're doing with Star Wars right now. Which is why they're putting out so much stuff, because it's already a huge established fan base and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Disney is gonna fucking ruin Star Wars for me. Which, like, I don't think they can touch the original trilogy. I don't think they can fuck that up. And Rogue One was beautiful, and I'll stand by that. And then,
But I mean, also, I mean, they made Rebels. Rebels was Disney.
yeah, no, I know that. I'm not saying everything.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everything's bad.
The biggest thing I would definitely say, at least for like me, I've gotten to the point where it's like really good writing, I think stands out on its own. But especially like when I want to see like a really great movie, like I really take into consideration like, you know, the directing, like the framing of your shots, your color grading, like all of the stuff that comes into it. How does the CGI, does it add, does it detract, does it do all those sort of things? And I don't know, you could definitely line up the new Star Wars movies with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the aspect of like it's, you know, mediocre writing ish kind of good acting, like the actors are doing a great job with what they have, and then like the you know, directing and the cinematography, it's all very good. I think it's pretty good.
For me as a moviegoer, like 100%, I would much rather have a good story.
See, but I think like I'm not pulling, I'm just saying if you have a great story, but like the directing, everything's bad, it's only gonna be a good movie. But if you have really good cinematography and the story is bad, then it's still gonna be like, you know, probably not great, but maybe like enjoyable to like watch for like.
See, like
you have to have both.
You do have to have both, but like I will stand by the fact that the cinematography in the last season of Game of Thrones was fucking beautiful. But they fucked up that writing so much that like I can't even enjoy Game of Thrones as a series anymore.
Game of Thrones to me ended at the Battle in the North.
They just fucked it up.
To me, that's where the series ends.
Like, see,
in my head, that's where I'm gonna keep it.
I can't. They've ruined it for me. I'm just like, ugh.
I don't know. I'm okay with it. I like
it's
don't
just
have
terrible.
my problems
it's
with
terrible
it.
Fucking writing. Like, you could have done so much different with it. You know what? I'm gonna give my hot take about fucking Game of Thrones, because we did talk about doing a Game of Thrones episode, but you refused to rewatch it, and I have it all in my fucking spank bank up here. I know everything that I need to know about Game of Thrones. So I'm just gonna rant about it. You want to know, like, how you could have ended, or one possibility of how to have ended Game of Thrones and like have it be satisfying.
Hit me with it.
At least for me as a person. And like, okay, I stand by the fact that the like concepts for things were okay. The execution and the order was just wrong. So I believe that, you know, if you keep the first 2 episodes of that last season, those are fine. But I believe, you know, because also they rushed Dany snapping. They really did. Because I stand by the fact that you could tell that she was a raging fucking bitch from season 3.
Fuck, you could tell it after, like season 2 even.
Yeah,
like,
season 2. So I don't understand the people who are shocked by her going evil.
No,
but
she was after Khal Drogo.
Oh yeah, no, shit,
from that point onward,
it was,
she was
inevitable.
Fucked.
It was inevitable. But like, you know, they did like a slow build throughout like the seasons, and then they just like did like a harsh like 180, you know, at that end. So I believe like you keep the first 2 episodes how you had it, except adding even more of that tension between Dany. And then,
I honestly think a lot of that final season's problems could have been fixed by just letting it be a season. Why shorten it to 6 episodes, in which those episodes all felt rushed? The only one that didn't is episode 3, Battle of the North. Yeah. That one episode, spotless. But everything else is just like, hey, we got these things happening. We need them going. We need them going quick.
See, I even
and
have
then we're here, and then we're there, and now they're crazy.
See, I even have my quarrels with that 3rd episode, the battle. But let me get to where I was going. So, keep the first 2 episodes, build up Danny's like 180 so it's not as like ridiculously unbelievable. But, essentially keep those first 2 episodes, have the North absolutely reject her and have her snap and, have her go to King's Landing from that point and then do her whole like Dracarys, I'm going to set everybody on fire thing and take out those enemies. And then how the series would end would be that battle in the North, but instead of just the White Walkers, it would be, the North, the White Walkers coming from the North and Dany coming from the South. I feel like that would have built up a lot more conflict, a lot more like, just like suspense and dread for the viewer. And I feel like it would have been a lot more satisfying because, it's basically 3 enemies all trying to fight each other. Because, like, it's not like Dany can ignore the White Walkers. It's not like the North can ignore Dany. And it's not like the White Walkers can ignore both Dany and the North,
Yeah.
So I feel like that would have been a better conclusion. And honestly, however they chose to end it at, like how they would choose to end it at that point, I would be satisfied with, if that makes any sense. Because obviously, they build up 8 seasons talking about how terrifying the White Walkers
Winter's
are.
coming.
And how winter's coming and all that. And it gets resolved in 1 episode, essentially. Essentially. Which, like, for how big it was prefaced throughout the rest of the seasons is a little bit lackluster to me.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, if the White Walkers annihilate everybody, like, I'm okay with that ending. If the North wins, I'm okay with that ending, so long as Bran isn't fucking king, because that's stupid. And then, if Dany...
There's some choices in that show.
And then if Dany just sets everybody on fire, you're like, damn. Because, like, if you're really into Game of Thrones and you've read the books and you have all that lore that we've been talking about through this entire episode, it would essentially be like the Targaryens repeating history, in a sense, and conquering Westeros. So, like, that would be a full close as well. I think that's how you should have ended Game of Thrones.
So if you were to draw like the ties though over to the new trilogy and like premonition of Rise of Skywalker, I could say that I think where the point, the movie's like the weakest point. Do you ever have a dream something so big that you could do anything?
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
But the new movies, they're very safe also in the aspect of just like, while it's neat to have like Kylo Ren be like from the beginning struggling with light versus dark.
Yeah, and more so the pull to the light since he's already at the dark.
Yeah, well, I think that's like the biggest thing that it's like, I think what felt so lackluster, especially in The Last Jedi, is there's kind of, it's hard to have a twist with a very gray area character. And everyone, for the most part, is very gray area. Even Luke is very gray area throughout the movies.
Luke's dead.
Well, now.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I mean, that's the thing, though. It was... They gray area him so much and kind of, like, downplay his character that you almost don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it'd be one thing if it was, like, when Ben Kenobi did it in A New Hope. This was a character. This is the first Star Wars movie, so it's like he's just some old fucking crazy dude.
Yeah.
And then he talks to us from the afterlife,
Like what?
So you're just like, whoa, that's kind of like weird. But like when you have this established character and you just kind of watch them go, and you're just like, huh, there's our hero. See ya.
I don't know. I don't think of Luke as a hero in this new trilogy.
But I mean, like from the OG trilogy, like he's the main character of 4, 5, 6, and then you just see him there in 8, and you're just like, sayonara. But the point I'm getting up to is like you kind of need like these big bads, And like Snoke was kind of that big bad, and you see him for about 15 seconds, and he's fucking dead. There he's go.
I really like the fact that they had the balls to kill him, but I really don't like how easy it was.
No. Well, I just don't think there was enough build up to it. It was just quick. I was like, wow, I finally get to see the Snoke guy, and we're gonna learn about him, and then fuck, that's it.
Andy Serkis just living his life in a green morph suit or whatever.
Yeah, who fucking knows what's going on here, man?
But, like, I don't... Because, once again, like, I like to be taken places, and then I'll overthink it afterwards and be mad about what I watch.
Exactly. So, it's like, I don't know. We'll have to come back and give our critiques after Rise of Skywalker's out.
Yeah.
To me, I find that I'm not going to be surprised by anything, I don't think, because of how gray area everything is.
Yeah, I would agree. Like I can't imagine, like, what they could do.
There's no Luke, I am your father is really going to be coming up, because at this point, you're just kind of like...
Well, I mean...
You're kind of expecting it. You kind of have those questions.
You could be like, Rey, I am your parents. But, like, once again, that's just, like, doing the same thing as Force Awakens did, where it just kind of repeated A New Hope, you know? You
but see, there wasn't even, like, the bait and switch this time.
Yeah, exactly.
From the beginning, they've just been like, hey, there's this mystery. Think about the mystery.
Who knows? Maybe she's a...
when you get the Luke, I am your father, it's so big because it's like...
Well, maybe she could be a descendant of Palpatine.
Maybe.
So,
but it's like, at this point, I wouldn't be that surprised because I'm already, like, curious, like, oh, who are the parents? And then once I know the parents, I'll be like, oh, okay.
And then, like, also, like, I don't know,
The Luke, I am your father, it's like, my dad's dead. No, I'm your father. What the fuck? You weren't even ready for it. Dad? It just hits you in the, end of the movie, you know? And now at this point, it's like, there's not even really a big cliffhanger going into the Rise of Skywalker, is there? In Last Jedi, at the end of that one, there's a big fight and a lot of shit's hitting the fan. People are running away, but...
I mean, maybe, like, the survival of, like, the Resistance.
Fuck them.
Maybe if Ben will go dark or light. Maybe if Rey will go dark or light. And maybe if Finn and
I'm ready to be pleasantly surprised.
I wonder if Phasma's still alive.
Dude, hell yeah. Phasma is honestly the character I care about. Phasma's where it's at. Because, no, they don't really kill Phasma, do they? No.
I don't know. Like, once again, I do stand by the fact in Star Wars, like, unless you see...
Them
die. Like, full on, like, you know...
But even then,
tap them.
You see fucking Darth Maul get sliced in half, and he's A-okay.
Yeah, no,
he's
but, like,
fucked up,
see,
but
you don't see him die, though.
Yeah.
Which, like, kind of how Phasma ends in Last Jedi is kind of, like, in a similar sense. Like, she falls down into, like, a blaze of glory.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, yeah, you can assume she did. But, like, is she dead really, though? Did you see that body, you know? Puppy! This is the best way to end the episode. Hi, baby.
Busy, what are you doing?
Hi, Busy. So cute. Such a good girl.
Needy dogs.
Yes.
Needy.
But so, yeah. Holy shit. I don't know how we filled out this hour. It's mostly me being mad about, well, actually...
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, taking the 15 minutes to be mad about Game of Thrones. Also, you know what? Actually, there's another thing that I'm mad about Game of Thrones. I'm gonna talk about it. So, for my people who read the books and are upset about things,
not me.
There is the prophecy, and like they do kind of talk about it in the series, but like very rarely. It's one of those things where if you've read the books, you'll understand what they're hinting at, but if you haven't, it doesn't take away from the show, if that makes any sense. And that is Azor Ahai. And it's such a big thing in the books, and like it's called by very many different names in the books. Like that's what that one bitch is trying to do with
the Red Witch.
Yeah, the Red Witch. That's what she's trying to do with that Baratheon guy, Stannis. And like, you know, because like Azor Ahai is supposed to be born amongst like salt and smoke, and you know. They're supposed, like, there are a lot of things that are very ambiguous, there we go, about, like, who Azor Ahai would be, and, like, there are different things, and, like, you know, they're supposed to be reborn from fire and shit like that, which is, like, why sometimes you know, it's a huge conflict because like you in the books you don't know if Jon Snow's Azor Ahai, you don't know if Stannis is Azor Ahai, you don't know if Dany is, you don't even know.
You care more about this Azor Ahai than you do who's gonna take the throne.
Yes,
The Iron Throne.
Yes, I
Whereas
do.
the show is very much like, hey, Iron Throne, that's where it's at, man.
Or at least I do as a person because
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's such a big thing in the books, and so you know Azor Ahai is this person who's supposed to like defeat the Night King and stuff like that, or defeat the White Walkers, and when they had Arya kill the Night King, like I was like, oh shit, are they really gonna like conclude Azor Ahai? Is Arya going to be Azor Ahai? Because like I
They
think
never really touch on it though. They don't talk about it at all.
they touch on it. They mention it like ambiguously throughout the series.
Yeah, but I mean, after the
But
event
after
of
it,
the
they
Night
just
King,
kind of
they're
throw
just
it in
like,
the
no, no
trash.
time for
They're like,
that.
"Fuck you, assholes." Which like, see, like, it's one of those things where it's so ambiguous that anybody could be it. And like one of the things that I strongly remember is like, or one of like the things that could, you know, contribute to somebody being Azor Ahai is they're born amongst like salt and smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the episode right after that is the bells. And, you know, you have Arya just covered in smoke and sweat, which is salty.
Mm-hmm.
And like for a hot second there, I was like, oh damn, they're gonna resolve Azor Ahai. Arya's gonna be Azor Ahai. And then they just bitch slapped me in the face. And just never talked about it, never mentioned it. Night King's dead. Arya's gonna
like
go
that.
sailing. Bran is the king, even though
I'm a sailor now. See ya.
Bran is king, even though he couldn't like be the Lord of Winterfell because he's a fucking tree dude.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Anybody else have feelings about Azor Ahai? Please let me know. Anybody else have feelings about Star Wars? Let us know. Tell us your hot takes. I want to hear them.
I want to hear people's anticipation for Rise of Skywalker. I want to know what people think.
Yeah.
Are they excited? Because
Like-
it's like, I'm excited, but I'm also apathetic.
Also, I really like to see, like, is it going to be, like, a week and a half from when we're filming this, or, like, 2 weeks?
It's the 20th. So, December 20th.
I thought it was the 19th.
No, December 20th. I mean, it's probably the 19th as, like, the midnight showing, but it's actually, like,
7
6
o'clock,
p.m.
yeah.
You know.
On Thursday night. But,
What happened to midnight showings? I'm mad.
I know, right?
That shit was lit.
And, like, I think it like, really peaked with, like, our generation. It was fun.
I think the last midnight reveal I'd ever been to was, like, the last Harry Potter movie.
Dude, same!
And you went to, like, the previous, like, 2 movies.
Yeah.
Starting at, like, 8. So you went to that at 8. But at midnight exacto, boom, the new movie started, you know? Mm-hmm. That was the times.
Well, maybe we'll come back to this in, like, 2-3 weeks. After we've watched them, like, we've done our bonus episode, and maybe we'll have, like, an actual answer for you guys of how to, like, watch Star Wars. Other than that,
It'll probably remain the same.
it'll probably remain the same.
Chances are.
I would like to see that we get surprised, but who knows? Yeah.
They go through a black hole time loop, and then we're back at episode 1.
No thanks.
Jar Jar Binks is coming back.
Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord, but, like, I really hope they don't, like, do any timey-wimey, like, loophole bullshit. Like, nah, dude. Nah, dude.
They probably will.
Nah, dude.
I want Elsa in Star Wars.
Why?
I'm useless. What can I say?
Okay.
See ya.
All right. I guess we'll catch you guys on the flip side. We'll see you next week. Bye.